This video is kindly brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform to build an online presence.
Okay, take like a 50 of just saying hello. Hi you guys, welcome here. It's been a while. It's nice to see you again. My name is Bethany. I'm the girl behind Well Love Knits, and we're doing a little knit and chat today because it has been so long since I posted a video on this channel, and I wanted to say hello, tell you that I'm still around, and update you guys on why I've been gone for so long. I did not actually intend on taking a break. It's not that I didn't really intend on taking a break. Maybe I wanted to take something small, but this was a lot longer than I had ever intended on. But nevertheless, it felt really nice. It was a really good break, and I'd love to get into it with you guys and share everything that's been going on. I enjoyed it so much that today I was like, do I really want to record? But I have commitments, and you know, it's nice to do these sort of things too. Like, I want to get back into the knitting community, and I want to start sharing what I'm working on again. It is a joy, and I think taking that time was really important for me to kind of remember and feel that sense of excitement to craft and that sort of thing. So yeah, today we're gonna sit down. It's been a long time since we've chatted together, so I think we've got a lot to catch up on. But before we get into that, I do have to tell you a little bit about the sponsor of today's video, which is Squarespace. I know you guys already know that Squarespace is my favorite platform for building a website, building an online presence. That's because I personally use them, and I have been very happy with the quality of service that I've been provided by Squarespace, as well as just the product that I've been able to produce. You can create a space that really reflects your personality and what you want to showcase with the world, but then you can also up your services. You can create newsletters, have memberships, and many other things that cater to your specific needs for whatever you need your website to do. So definitely check out Squarespace. I would really encourage you. I personally love it. You guys know that, and I think you will too. So check out the link in the description and get started to play around and see how you want to make your own website. And then when you're ready to launch, you can use the discount in the description to get 10% off your first website or domain. So thank you very much to Squarespace for being a constant support of this channel, and thank you for supporting brands that support me. Thank you so much to Squarespace, and let's get into the chat. So I've got a little sock that I've been working on. Nothing special. I started with this like rolled hem. Ooh, that looks really nice on camera actually. So I got this little rolled hem because I was honestly too lazy to do ribbing. I don't like doing ribbing on these small circulars, and I cast on with the small circulars. So I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna try a rolled hem. And I've noticed actually a lot of socks in you know, just normal socks in, what am I trying to say? Just like normal shops. Like, it's a trendy, rolled hems are trendy. I mean, that was all I really needed to say. It's kind of a trend, right? With some of these store-bought socks, there are rolled hems. And so I was thinking, maybe I can make that work out. I don't mind it. So I'm working on the leg here. Don't really know how far I can go. I made a sock already with this yarn. This is Mondim. And look at the ball. It's quite, there's a lot there. I made only one sock on really small needles, and I regret doing so because I kind of knew when I was knitting it up to begin with. This was a year ago. I knew that I was not going to knit the second one up. But for some reason, I wanted to knit the first one. I really wanted to knit that first sock, and I knew in the back of my head, like, oh, I'm never going to knit the second sock because the needles are just way too tiny. I don't know why I did that. I didn't need to. I just wanted a really tight gauge. And I don't even know where that sock is, but I think I might be able to get a pair of socks out of this. Maybe with Mondim you can get 2 pairs. I'm not really sure. But I really love this color, and I saw it again in my stash, and I was like, you know
that's going to make me really happy. So I'm going to make some socks with it. And I'm happy that I cast it on because now I have a little project to knit on while we chat. So yeah, there's a lot that has been going on. And I think I alluded to it before in previous videos. I definitely was teasing the fact or just hinting at the fact that we were moving and that we wanted to move and buy our own place. And I'm really happy to tell you that it happened. The crazy thing is that it happened so long ago. Really, in April of this year, we were touring places in January, February of this year. And it wasn't until April? Yeah, I think so. April, we found this place. We toured it. We really enjoyed it. And we put an offer in May. And I don't know. I can't compare because I know I'm going to get some questions about that. Like how different is it to purchase homes in Belgium versus the US, which is where I'm from? I don't know because I've never bought anything in the US. This is my first home that I've ever purchased. And I really couldn't compare. But it was a very long process. I'm assuming that it wouldn't be this long in the US. I just feel like this was abnormally long because we put in the offer in May and we didn't even sign anything. We didn't close on the house until the first or second week in September. That was a really long time. I don't know. So there's like a 3-4 month period. Is that right? Yeah, 3-4 month period in Belgium that everything needs to get put together. You know, we have to settle the mortgage and everything, and then the notary has to put together all the papers, and we have to, do the necessary for all that. And then we signed everything in September and got the keys. And then we didn't move in for another month because we had some things that we wanted to do at the house, which was really nice. But that was really exciting. It was a fun, exciting thing that I was very much looking forward to. And throughout the entire year, I think that's just like one part. That's just one thing that kind of contributed to me needing a little bit of just time because buying a house is just so stressful. I mean, I knew that. I've heard that from people, just advice that I've gotten as well as like, it's going to take some time. It's going to be, if you're looking for a house, you're in for the long haul. It's going to take a while to find what you want. And then you might get disappointed sometimes. And we put offers in on other houses and didn't get them, So it was a pretty long process. It wasn't very long, I think, finding the place. If we started our search in January, that till May, I think some people have looked for houses for a lot longer, around like a year or something. So I'm thankful that didn't take very long because that would have been really discouraging for me. But gosh, after we found the place, it was very discouraging not to be able to have such a like streamlined process to get everything in order. There was a lot of back and forth and just chasing people. That was what it was. I was really just like chasing people at the bank, chasing people here and there. It just felt like always trying to get an answer. But it's all over. It's all in the past now. And we were really excited to be able to get those keys in September. But it was just one of those things because I was waiting so long. Even when we got the offer accepted on the house, we were waiting, okay, well, we get approved for the mortgage. But then when we got approved for the mortgage, I don't know, I didn't really want to say anything about it too much because we hadn't moved in. And I felt like it's not that my husband is super superstitious. And sometimes I'm like that too. I just didn't want to jinx things, like didn't want to speak too soon about something like that. So now I can tell you because I'm physically here. No one's taking me out of here. And I'm not dreaming. So yeah, that is the number one reason because so in September, we were starting to pack our apartment. We started packing our apartment months before as well, which
I think also made me a little bit more antsy because I was like, I know I'm moving out of here. I just don't know when. So I was very happy when we started getting a move-in date, and then we were really packing up our place. So it didn't really feel right to be on camera. And honestly, my whole brain, everything, my passion was in moving. That's all I was thinking about. I didn't really pick up my needles at all in September and October, just because moving was all I wanted to do and think about and coordinate. I just wasn't feeling very inspired when there's other stresses and things to really like think about. I'm sure you can relate that it, moving just takes all your brain power is what I discovered, at least for me. So we moved in middle of October. We got here, and that actually was very smooth. The entire process, I think the smoothest thing was moving. We had a great team that came to move everything from our apartment over here. And they were really lovely to work with, and they made the process really nice, which I'm very happy about. And then it was up to us to unpack everything, and we're still not fully unpacked. My parents came, I think a week or 2 weeks after we had moved in. So we still had a lot of boxes everywhere, but they came and they stayed for 2 weeks and they helped us unpack a little bit, which was really nice. It was so good just to see them, but then also to have some free time and, get to those boxes, because with Arthur around, he is 14 months now, moving around. He is walking. He is mobile. This kid is mobile. We finally have baby gates and a nice little safe area for him to play in. But it's still, we needed the help to be able to really focus on unpacking and putting things where they belong. And we still haven't fully done it, just because, it's just hard, right? It's difficult to kind of figure out what you want. And I think that's the one thing that I'm really noticing now that I'm all moved in here, is I don't really know what I want to do with the space. Places still feel incomplete. And even though we have all of our stuff there, like in our living room, we have all of our stuff here, but it doesn't feel right, and it doesn't feel complete. It feels a little empty. The walls are bare. This is the only thing really hanging up. And we just need some time to organize and think, decorate. And that's something that I notice. I'm not really into that sort of thing. Are you a big home decorator? Because I always thought that if I had a house, I would get so excited and figure out how to design it really nicely and how to decorate. I always thought that was something that I would really like, but it's not. It's not. It's not something that I really gravitate towards, and I just don't feel good at it, if that makes sense. It's not that I'm overwhelmed by choice, but I just don't feel as though I'm making the right choice anytime I make a choice. You know what I mean? It's like FOMO a little bit. It's like, okay, yeah, I could go with this style and this item, but then what if I find something else? Or what if the other one fits better? Like if I'm deciding between two things. Like right now I'm trying to find an ottoman, just something that we put our feet on. But if I tell you, I don't even know if you'll believe me, that I've considered 5 different ottomans and measured them all and looked at the fabrics and thought about how long it's going to take to get them delivered, and I still haven't made up my mind. I've got 5 options and none of them are working. And it's just stuff like that, where it feels now with a house that every decision that I make is going to be forever, which I know is so silly, but I also don't really want to be. I want to be very intentional with the things that I'm welcoming into the home, and I want to carefully curate a nicely decorated home. And I know that takes time, but as the impatient person that I am,
I'm struggling with acting that way, like being intentional and then not having the thing that I want right now. It's a funny thing. But the house is great. We're moved in with what matters. We're all moved in and we feel really great here. It's great to be here. And I'm really happy that it all worked out. And I'm just feeling really grateful and thankful that it happened. That we were able to find a home and make a home for ourselves. It's not 100% where we envision it to be, but that doesn't matter. That's not the important thing. The important thing is that we have a house over our head and a great place for Arthur to grow up in. And that's what this place is. So that is a huge reason why I've been gone, me and my Ottoman struggles, trying to figure out the right one. We've done a lot of painting, of course, and that's like the main thing that we were really working on a lot of weekends before we moved in. We were painting. If I would do it all over again, maybe I wouldn't do it myself. But no, it was fun. We had a lot of bonding time. And sometimes I look at the walls and I'm like, did we do a good job? But it's fine. It works. Like this wall right here used to be ice blue. Not my thing. So I'm just happy that the white is covering it up. And then we had another wall that was a dark, like jewel green in our bedroom. We also covered that with white. So as you can imagine, we were working a lot trying to cover up those really dark colors. And yeah, I can say that that's all good. It's just the decorating. Now, like the fun part, the part where we can add our personality, that's all that's left. There were some things with the house that we ran into. I don't even know if I want to get into it, but as a homeowner, we did already have like our christening homeowner moment where we had to deal with some plumbing issues that were not caused by us, but I think were just with the house that we didn't know. And, or like the house was left for overtime for a while, so that something got stuck into the pipes. And that was a whole ordeal that we had to deal with for like 2 weeks. So we've had one of those moments too. And luckily that was when my parents were here and we were able to have their support. So I didn't feel like, oh my gosh, the house is falling apart. They made me feel a little bit more confident that it's okay and things can get fixed, So that's really it about the house. I'm really happy. It's not actually too far away from where we were. It's in a completely new area. So that's a really exciting point too, is that we get to discover a place that's completely new. It's still in Brussels city limits though, just barely, just barely, but it's still technically in the city, which is a plus because we're connected with the metro and the tram and everything and the bus. But we're further out enough to make it really feel like suburbia. So we're going from one very urban area where I would hear ambulances all the time. And now I wake up to birds, which is so nice, which is exactly what I want. I really loved living in the city, and I still feel like my husband and I are very much, we're not like true city center living type people. Like we don't need to be right next to all the bars that are out and open at the really small hours of the night over the weekends or even during the week. That's not really what we liked, but we do like being connected with public transportation and having like that feeling of a lot of people around. I loved it and hated it. I don't know. I really loved it before COVID. And then when COVID hit and afterwards, I think I was over it, So I was really looking to go to a place similar to where we are now. So we definitely went from one extreme to the other, living in basically, just concrete surrounding us, barely any trees. We'd have a couple of parks. We had great parks near us in our last place. to here where we see so much grass, so many trees. I hear birds. I don't hear ambulances anymore. I don't hear people at night anymore. It is great, but it also feels a little off. It's hard to explain like the duality of the feelings where it's like I miss that, but I don't, you know? And, you know, like I love it, but I don't. So anywhere you move, I think it takes some adjustment. It doesn't really matter if it's your dream area. You're still getting used to a place that you weren't used to before. So that's kind of just where we're at right now with all of that. And yeah, overall, as you can imagine, we're really, really happy with the whole situation and how everything has worked out for us. So I have these socks that I've been working on, not too intensely, which is really great. But I did recently cast on something else, finally picking up my needles. And I do want to just show you guys because I just am so happy with how it's turning out. And it's one of those things, well, it's colorwork, so you get really excited when it's starting to come to life. I'll just show it to you guys. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's the panda sweater. So here's the chart so that you guys can see what it's supposed to look like. And it's getting somewhere. I'm really excited. We got the little paws of the panda forming, which look really nice. The lighting's a little off, so you can't really see. This is a really beautiful velvety burgundy color, which I think will be really nice. I mentioned this in my last video. Yes, I mentioned this in my last video about what I would potentially want to be knitting on in fall. And this was for Arthur. So for Arthur, I really want to do a Christmas sweater each year, or, you know, it doesn't have to be Christmas-y, but like a sweater that I knit him for Christmas. And Roz chose the panda sweater. I showed him a couple of options. I showed him this one and the Weasley sweater. And he was most interested in this one. And I'm really glad that he picked that one too, because I'm just working with some fun yarn. And I'm really happy with how the little colorwork chart's working out. I just think it's so much fun to knit up. And it hasn't really been that much progress. I am worried that this is going to be a massive sweater. Because I'm not even a third of the way. And yeah, this looks really large. I did have to increase my needle size for this yarn, which is a Lang yarn, Carpe Diem, I think. It's really lovely. Yeah, the lighting is really terrible right now, but you'll get the gist. I didn't have any, so I went to a local yarn shop that's new to me. I was really excited to try something new, and they didn't have anything that was recommended. So this is Camera Rose and Drops Air. Those were recommended for this pattern, and I couldn't find anything similar to it. And I've worked with Drops Air in the past, so I wasn't really interested in ordering it. I know where to get it from. Wasn't really interested in getting it. And then I saw this, which with a 6mm needle, which is one size up from the 5, it had kind of a similar gauge. It was like 16 by 22, and I think the gauge of the 5mm with Drops Air was 17 by 22. So I was like, okay, this could work. So I did increase my needle size. So I'm not really sure. And I didn't knit a swatch, guys. Like, no, I just wanted to get started. So I increased my needle size, and I'm working 2 strands held together, which I don't think is recommended in the pattern. I just wanted it to be extra fluffy and to make sure that I didn't have any gaps. Looks pretty good. Sorry about the planes. We do live a little closer to the airport, so that's just something that I can't really help. But hopefully it's not too annoying. Yeah, so I don't know if I'm on the right track, if this is completely off gauge or not. It looks massive. I'm knitting the size for the 2-year-old, which is the smallest size available. And I was kind of crossing my fingers that it was gonna be a nice, a nice size. You know, maybe in hindsight, what I was originally gonna do is just knit with a 5mm, just keep the original size and then kind of size down a little bit. So then it wasn't gonna be a 2-year-old size, it'd be closer to maybe 18 months. But then I kind of went back on that decision, and I don't know if I regret that or not. I'm not 100% sure if I regret it. Because I don't want him to be swimming in this, but I think it will be a dress. I think it will be a dress for Christmas. So we'll see. It's interesting because this is Intarsia, and it's been a really long time since I've worked in Intarsia. So I'm having a really hard time with color management and keeping these things untangled. Like, I went to a doctor's appointment and they were much faster than I anticipated. I thought that I was going to be sitting there for a really long time. And so I took this project. I shouldn't have taken this project because of all the balls involved. I sat down and I was all tangled up. So I spent all the time untangling my yarn, and then they called my name. They were ready for me, which took like no time at all. So then I had to shove everything back in my bag, and it was super tangled all over again by the time I got home. So this is not a project I'm taking out ever again. But the thing is, it's only the panda at the front, and then everything else is just in one color. So, oh, but it's interesting because you knit it paneled and then you seam the sides together, but it's from the bottom up. So then you join everything together and do the sleeves. I've only done that one other time, so this will be really interesting. The person behind this is Laura Dalgard. Laura Dalgard Knit. Hello. In case you're interested, I would definitely go check her out. She has a lot of interesting patterns, and a lot of them are in English, which is really great. The details, I mean, because I'm working on the chart, the pattern itself is not too in-depth, but I don't really need it to be because I'm working on the chart right now. So far, it's pretty minimal, but I like patterns like that. I really enjoy patterns like that. If it has too much information, my brain explodes. So I'm really happy with how it's working up. And then I have my sock project for those simpler times when I just need to knit in the round. Speaking of socks, something that is totally off my radar, but actually today is Thanksgiving when I'm recording this. And I got an email about the totally tessellated sock cowl by Andrea Mallory. And I'm so sad that I was not prepared for that. I haven't been catching up with her. I'll knit if I want to. I wish I had been, because those socks look like a lot of fun. So maybe I will be doing my own cowl at some point with, no, not really a cowl, but I'll be knitting those socks on my own at some point. Because I didn't even know that they were released, and I saw a picture and I was like, those look really nice. Those look like a lot of fun. And I really like that vest and sweater. So I would love to knit something similar. A sock sounds good for me. Yeah, I really enjoyed sitting down and chatting. I feel like I was all over the place, but I hope you enjoyed hearing a little bit about what's been going on with me. I certainly only scratched the surface. We need to do a follow-up video. There's a lot more that we need to talk about. I got some really lovely packages when while I was gone that I need to show you guys, and I want to give that their full attention. So I think in the next video, we'll do a little bit more of a like yarn unboxing type thing. Yarn product unboxing type thing. So I'm really excited to share that stuff with you. Thank you guys so much for clicking on this video and sitting down with me after such a long time. I really appreciate it. I'd love to hear from you guys and chat with you guys even further in the comments. Say hello, definitely. I love to read them all. So yeah, thanks again. It's been really nice, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.